G'day everyone and welcome to another DUC Migrating to Australia podcast. Wes Sant here from the Down Under Centre. And today I'm joined by Rob, our roof tiler. So Rob, firstly, welcome buddy.
Thank you very much, Wes. Nice to meet you.
You too, pal, you too. And mate, you've got a pretty cool story and you've had some huge news. I reckon these podcasts, this is the podcast was actually booked in before you got the news, wasn't it?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, we've been booked in maybe 2 weeks or something like that, maybe 3. And then the
Yeah,
news came the back end of last week, yeah.
the power of the podcast. So we'll get straight into that before we, talk about a few other things. So, mate, your big news a couple of days ago. What happened?
Yes, so very fortunate enough to have been taken to Dubai last week as a birthday present from my wife. I was 40 in September. And
What day in September, Rob?
26th of September.
Oh, there you go. That's right. I'm a September baby too. I was just seeing by chance if we share the same birthday.
Okay, well, actually, my eldest boy, Bobby, he was born on the same day as me, the 26th of September, which is quite mad.
That is, yeah. We're a bit like that actually. I'm the 9th. My son Jet's the 9th. My son Jackson's the 24th, the same as his mother. And then our daughter Jasmine, she's the 31st of December. So New Year's baby. But
Wow.
but mate, what news did you get when you were in Dubai?
Yes, so it was the morning that we was travelling home. Excuse me, and we just got collected by the taxi at the hotel. And before the Wi-Fi was to disconnect, I thought I'll just have a quick nosy at my phone, not at anything in particular. And as I went to the home screen, there was an email which was from yourselves, the DUC, and obviously the subject line was "Congratulations on your visa." And I was sat in the shotgun seat in the front seat, and I just sort of rotated my head to look at Becky, my wife, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And she knew straight away what it was. So it was just, I can't put it into words, Wes, but the night before I had a couple of drinks, so I was a little bit ropey in the morning, and
Yeah.
that hangover feeling just completely got shifted away. So it was good in that sense. But yeah, unbelievable feeling, unbelievable moment as well.
So good, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's what we do this for, I guess, mate. So yeah, it's pretty good, and it's good that you and Rebecca can sort of share that on a bit of a holiday too. So let's go back to the start. It's always good to know a little about yourself. So who's in the family, Rob?
Okay, so there's me and Becky, my wife. We've been together for over 18 years, and we've been married for 10. We celebrated our 10th wedding anniversary in August.
Cool.
And then
Congrats.
I've got my eldest boy, who's Bobby, who's 13, and then we've got another son, Oscar, who is 8, and then we was blessed with a little girl called Esme, who is 6, and that was the final piece of the jigsaw.
Yeah, that's awesome, mate. So you got 3 kids, and you're you're a roof tiler. So you migrated to Australia with the power of laying tiles, which is really good. So let's go. How long have you been a roof tiler for, mate?
So I sort of stumbled into roofing when I was 17. I left school with no kind of real desire to carry on my education, and then by accident, my friend's my friend's mum's partner had a roofing company, and I sort of joined his company. So for the best part of 23 years, I've been in the roofing industry.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty good. So you got your experience in doing all of that. So that's what led you to the visa. What does Rebecca do for work, mate?
So Becky works as cabin crew. She's been an air hostess for a company called Jet2 over in the UK. She's worked there for 19 years.
Wow. Is she going to do that sort of work when she gets to Oz?
So luckily, like a bit like my kind of in trades, her skills are transferable as well. So she's been looking online at different job sites and things like that, and the amount of opportunities for cabin crew in Australia, certainly WA, is absolutely fantastic. So there's every chance that she'll pick it up, but at the same time, you just never know. She might decide to look into something different.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's good to know that you got the options. I guess when you've been working so long, so you're both committed to your occupations for so long. You're going to be doing your roof tiling when you get here as well, mate.
So potentially, I think it might be the quickest kind of route to getting some employment. I've actually kind of worked my way up the career ladder over the last 10 years. I've been employed as a contract manager for 10 years, which I think is the equivalent as a project manager over in Oz. So that's where my heart is. I love my job. I love sort of being a contract manager. I love everything about it. So the end goal would be to probably pick up that route. Certainly don't mind going back on site, but not something I want to do for the rest of my life, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Rob, just looking at dates, right? This is actually unbelievable. So this is being filmed. I always say filmed, mate. I always think we're film stars. We're far from it. It's been recorded on the 18th of the 11th, 2024. But you only, is it correct? You only signed up with us in May this year.
So it's absolutely correct, Wes. I mean,
That's
when
ridiculous. So
I
you,
sorry, go on.
I was going to say, so you got started with us on the, well, you don't mind me sharing the day you got signed up with us?
Absolutely, please.
So you signed up with us on the 23rd of the 5th, 2024, and that was to start your skills assessment.
That's exactly right.
So you've completed your skills assessment, put in an EOI. So you must have put in your expression of interest. When did you put that in then?
That went in on Wednesday, the 11th of September 24. So I've actually got a breakdown here, Wes, if you'd like me to share it with you.
Yeah, please do, because this is unbelievable timing for a roofer. This is huge.
I'm glad you said that because I don't know what to compare it to other than what I see sort of on the DUC Facebook page. But from my kind of understanding, this is so fast that I can't get my head around it. So the very first conversation I had with the DUC was with a gentleman called Mick, and that was it was 174 days ago to this day, which was 5 months and 3 weeks. So I'll tell you a bit about the journey in the middle and shortly, but to put it into sort of concept, it took me 5 months and 3 weeks from the first phone call to getting the visa grant.
That is, I didn't, before we set this podcast up, obviously, like we had a quick chat before, but that was just you telling me that it's about to snow in Manchester. It's your first day of winter.
Correct.
I didn't even, that's huge, mate. Some people don't even get their skills assessment result back in that time.
Honest to God, Wes, I can't believe it, mate. Honestly, I don't like take it for granted either. We're so grateful to sort of you and your team, but also just the process. Everything's just been lined up perfectly for us. And I'll tell you a little bit more. So the skills assessment, it took 94 days to sort of be reviewed and to receive that positive outcome. That was obviously just over 3 months. That was the longest stage of this process. So as soon as I'd done my skills assessment, I went straight into my English test. I did the PTE test, and I was kind of depending on a decent score just to give me the extra points. So I was quite lucky. I got a score of 88, which put me in the top threshold. So as soon as I completed the English test, we submitted the EOI, and from submitting that EOI, it took 5 days to receive an invitation to apply for state nomination by
Which
SA.
state did you put it into?
So that was from SA, South Australia.
Yep.
So then we got the invitation to apply for the nomination. Then we got the nomination approved 14 days directly after the application. Now, the beauty of this one is it came on, I got the state nomination approval on the 25th of September. That was 1 day before my 40th birthday. So that allowed me to have the total points of, I think it's 20 points, if I'm right. But I would have lost 10 points overnight.
Correct.
When I say about everything being lined up, it was just gift after gift. Everything just kept flowing. And at that point,
I got a funny feeling our visa team might have put that when they put the EOI in, actually, mate, about you losing points.
Well, to be fair to Olivia, she did kind of say she would make an effort for us, because I think you've got quite a good rapport with them guys, haven't you?
Yeah, they're fantastic. But that's unbelievable. So carry on. So you got the invite. Then what are the dates?
Yes, so we got the invite the day before my 25th. Following the invite, we lodged the visa on the 8th of October. So from lodging the visa to the visa being granted, it took 31 days, Wes. 31 days.
That's I don't mean to obviously roof tilers are an occupation in demand, but wow, like you wouldn't think that immigration would be like you've got teachers and that are waiting longer than that. You know what I mean? Like, and for roof tiler together, that's a massive win for your industry, and also the listeners that are probably thinking they've got occupations that maybe will or won't lead to something special like the visa grant, but you just did it in like record timing. Rob, I've had this business for I think 13 years, mate, and I reckon over the last few years, it's probably been the most challenging ever for migration, and this is by far the fastest outcome from sign up to visa grant. I would usually speak to someone and sort of say, look, this is one hell of a process, and you're looking at a good year and a half to 2 years from when you sign up with us to get granted. So to do it in under 6 months is just massive.
Wow, I can't believe you said that, but I'm glad you said it, because I've been thinking in the back of my head like this has to be some sort of record, because you look at other people's experiences and like what you just said then, maybe 12, 18 months, maybe 2 years. To me, that would be normal. Like that's what I had in my head going back to that very first phone call with Mick where we had the consultation. He kind of gave that time frame. So we've just been so relaxed and calm about the whole process, and we've managed to whittle through like the skills assessments, for example. Very fortunate that I've been employed by the same company for over 13 years. So when it came to gathering all that information, it was all in one place. So I do sympathise with people who are self-employed or maybe have had multiple employers. The luxury of having one employer for that length of time has made this process so quicker. And like I said earlier, the longest stage was the skills assessment, which was 94 days.
And now TRA, you're getting them down to like 10 days as well. So if you were to fit it into that bracket, mate, you might have broken all sorts of bloody visa records if you didn't have that delay. So how does this impact you guys now with like a shock with everything happened so quick? I know you put your visa in, so I knew you knew it was coming. But do you guys have like a time when you're looking to head over to us?
Yes. So completely caught us off guard, and we certainly didn't sort of price in the fact that it would take this length of time. What me and Becky had done was we booked flights for February 25. So we're just going to fly over on like a 2-week recce. I'm very fortunate that I've got family who live in Perth in WA. My sister's lived over there for 20 plus years now. So we came to the decision that my mother-in-law would look after the children, and we would just fly over in February, and we were just going to do quite a whirlwind tour of some suburbs and things like that, weigh everything up. Them flights was booked. We were looking forward to the trip. The visas obviously came last week, so we've made a decision now that we're going to take all of the 3 children just to get them visas activated, because we're conscious of that 12-month kind of deadline.
I was just about to ask that, Rob, about make sure that you do that. Like you don't leave the kids at home and then delay it. So yeah, that's good. Absolutely. So the kids will join you, and then you don't have a day like when you like. Do you have like a time when you think you move for good?
So originally we was toying with the idea that the visas may have came around about February or March time. That was our kind of expectation, if you like. I mean, even that was a bit far-fetched, to be fair. But because they have come through, Becky spoke to the estate agent last week when we got back from Dubai, and they're coming out on Monday to do the photography of the house, etc. And then we're going to put the house on the market on Boxing Day. It goes live on Boxing Day, which, according to the industry experts, that's like the busiest time of the year for people who view new houses. So with that in mind, the people are going to come and look at the house pretty much, I would imagine, straight after the new year. As quick as the house sells, we're over there.
Wow.
So, yeah, as soon we've got in our head round about May, June, July at the latest.
Are you still going to come in Feb, or are you going to cancel the flights now?
No, we're coming definitely, because I just don't want to risk anything, Wes, if you know what I mean. We've got the visas, and God forbid anything happened, like I don't even know what, like a pandemic or anything like that. We just want to get
That word banned in migration now, mate. That word killed me. Pandemic.
no, but anything can happen, can't it? So
Yeah.
we booked the kids on the flight on Saturday, just gone. So we're all coming out. We're going to enjoy the 2 weeks as a family. Give the kids a bit of a taste of the culture and what's to come, etc.
Yep.
And then we can come back, quite, sell the house as sort of pain free as possible, and then do our goodbyes and off we come.
No, knowing your luck, Rob, you probably have the house bloody sold in New Year's, mate. You probably get twice the amount you're asking, and probably get sold in there. So when you get to Oz, are you with your property and all that? Are you going to rent for a couple of months? Are you looking to rent for a year, or just see how it goes, then use the equity to buy straight away?
Absolutely, yeah. We're going to rent for a minimum of 12 months.
Okay.
We've kind of got. I'll be honest with you, Becky's the brains behind all the suburbs and things like that. But we're definitely not getting into any kind of financial agreement until we know that we like the area, and most importantly, Wes, we want to make sure we settle. I think I'm very, very confident that everything's going to go absolutely how we want it to do, but there is that possibility that it might not work. So we wouldn't want to just risk, going straight into another mortgage, and then if you did have to come back, all the stresses of that. So we're just going to have a nice, steady 12 months, get used to the way of life, get used to the culture, get used to the schools, find the right suburb, and then we'll look at getting a mortgage, hopefully.
Yeah, good on you. I always say to people, there's no right or wrong what you do with houses and all that, renting, buying. It's just a risk you take, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Like if you buy somewhere and you don't like it and you sell it for less, then that's your money you could have spent on saved money by renting. And then, there's lots of ways to look at it. And what about all your furniture and all that? Are you going to ship everything, or are you guys going to start fresh? Because you got a family of 5 with a teenager as well, so I'm sure there'll be a few things that they'll want shipped. Or how do you figure that bit out?
So again, based on the sort of research that me and Becky, more Becky than me, honestly, but based on the research that she's been doing with the fellow DUCers on the Facebook page, there's kind of mixed messages whether you decide to take pretty much everything or you go pretty light. What we don't want to do is drag everything in the kitchen sink over, because it's just for me personally, that's just too much of a stress and a headache. We know there's IKEAs and things like that over there, so we're gonna leave a lot of things behind, Wes, and we're gonna pretty much start again. We don't need any fancy furniture or anything like that anytime soon. We're just gonna get your basic flat packs, make it look as homely as possible, and then we've got the rest of our life to get our house how we want it. So we're probably just going to focus mainly on all our sentimental values and sort of we've got a nice mirror and things like that, which will come with us, and a couple of lamps, just very basic things. We ain't taking no beds, we ain't taking no sofas or anything like that. It's just going to be the stuff that we want, and that is it.
And Rob, if the house sells, and what do you do? Like, do you just turn around to the people who are buying it and say, "No, you've got to wait till I move to Oz," or do you have somewhere to stay while you're waiting for the time, or you're just going to just not have sleepovers, I guess, in the UK, and just work out the date when you get rid of the house and go straight to Oz?
That's a good question, because in the ideal world, you would kind of speak to the potential new buyers about delaying the moving in date, but we're not here to sort of interfere with their lifestyle. So as soon as they sign the dotted line, the house is theirs. So
you don't have a choice. In Australia, you can do like a 30, 60 or 90-day settlement.
Okay, potentially, Wes. I really don't know on that, but it might be something we do look at, actually.
Yeah.
But worst case scenario, Becky's mother lives around the corner. She doesn't have the most space in the world, but she would certainly house Becky and the children. And my friend, equally, he just lives around the corner and he's got a spare room. So we just have to slum it for as long as it takes. We still see each other every day, but if it means me sleeping in my mate's spare room, I wouldn't be bothered, honestly.
Well, Bobby's old enough to probably have sleepovers, and so is Oscar, I guess,
Exactly.
to sort of spend a bit of time at their mates' houses as well, sort of see how it goes. Mate, have you been to Oz before?
Yes. So
obviously, sister's here, but have you been here, before? Yeah.
Yeah, just that one time when we went to visit my sister. So Becky was just pregnant with Bobby. So getting on for 14 years ago it was. We visited her in Perth, yeah.
Wow. So whose idea was it to migrate? Was it when you got started with this less than 6 months ago, mate? Before you got your
Yeah.
visa granted, whose idea was it to migrate? Was it something that was in the background for a while and spoken about, or was it a bit ad hoc and just quick decision?
Um, a bit of both, really, Wes. It was pretty much Becky's decision. We've between the pair of us, we've always had like a strong desire to move to a warmer country.
Yeah.
And we've always kind of spoken about like Spain or one of the Canary Islands, like Tenerife, something like that. There's never, ever really been a conversation about moving to Australia based on probably the duration it takes to get to and from. And quite literally, I was working from home one day. I was sat where I am now in the kitchen on my laptop. Becky's mum was round having a cup of tea. And I just heard Becky say, like no consultation with me. She just went, "Mum, we're moving to Australia." And I sort of went, "Did I just hear that?" So I leant back in my chair. I said, "Can you just repeat that, please, love?" And she was like, she said, "I'm just sick of it over here now. I'm done with it, and I really want to look into it." So we had a chat later on that evening because I thought she was just winding me up because it's never really been spoken about, and I've never pursued it because Becky's kind of an only child on her mother's half, so I'd never have that conversation because I just didn't think it would ever be an option. I would have moved 20 years ago with my sister, honestly, but it's never really been anything that we've explored. But yeah, based on several factors, Becky was just like, "I'm done. Let's look into it."
Yeah, that's cool. So how long from that conversation did you get, like, from when you initially had the conversation with Mick from our team?
Okay, so it would have been pretty quick. We started when we decided that she's not pulling my leg. It's actually something we're going to look at. We went online and we started googling how to look into getting an Australian visa. And Wes, you don't need me to tell you, it's an absolute minefield. And we just it was soul destroying to the point where we thought this ain't ever going to happen. I don't think we even kind of considered immigration companies existed. And we was at it was Oscar's birthday party, and some of his school friends was obviously joined us at the party with their parents. And one of the parents, Claire, they're currently signed up with the DUC as well, going through their process. But her and her partner have lived over Australia about 7 or 8 years ago, I think, and they said we're using a company called the Down Under Centre. And from that this was on the Saturday. On the Sunday, we'd done a bit of research on you guys, and on the Monday we made an initial contact, and then we spoke with Mick on the Tuesday. So it was about 4 days after the conversation we got in touch with you guys.
And then are they still waiting for is Claire and that still waiting for their visas?
Yeah, so it's Claire and Craig. Craig's applying for the skills assessment at the moment.
What occupation is Craig?
He's a plumber.
Oh, I probably has he done his? Have I assessed him? I'm the plumbing assessor for immigration.
So he's got his interview.
Has he done his practical yet?
Yeah, he's got his interview with you. Bear with me, I'll just have a quick chat. He was texting.
I'm actually assessing 7 plumbers tomorrow. Imagine if he's one of them.
I'm sure it's the 2nd of December, the interview date.
Oh, okay, yeah, he'll be booked in for me. I'll assess him just before Christmas, mid-December. There you go.
He's a great guy, you know. Honestly, you'll get on really well with him.
No, that's huge. Well, hopefully they can get the success that you guys got, because it's a bit of a, hey, this is who we're using, and then bang, we got it.
Exactly.
We got it granted.
So it's through their word of mouth that we kind of come across you. So, yeah, brilliant.
I'm glad you did, mate, because the amount of extra support that we can give clients is huge. Like, through the relocation side, at least we'll be in touch about having a chat with one of our relocations. I think there's a fair bit more than we do than just do the assessments, which is good, especially for yourself you'll be here. You'll actually be visa granted here with the time that you're saying before you even signed up with us within 12 months. So
crazy.
That's a massive turnaround to get things right, because I think the first year, Rob's so hard for people, even probably the first 2 years, mate. That's when some people might decide to go home, or they might have a bit of a a rough trot. So if it's good that you got your sister here, and then there'll be a few people in the DUC club they always have meetings in meetups in WA. But
Okay.
that first year is tough. How's Bobby, Oscar, and Esme, the kids? How are they? Like, are
So
they giving you shit about it, or they're pretty happy to go?
I didn't know we could swear on here. Now I know.
Oh, did I?
Uh,
Sorry, everyone. I didn't even know I swore. What did I say?
no, you just said SHIT, but that's fine.
Oh, sorry, mate. Sorry,
No, it's
everyone.
funny. It makes me laugh. I think Oscar and Esme are absolutely buzzing about it. They're at that perfect age where they probably don't really understand it that well. They're aware of the move to Australia and everything that comes with it based on the conversations and the YouTube videos that we show them.
Yeah.
But whether they've got a kind of real feel for that distance is another matter. Bobby, he's kind of been a little bit resilient towards it. He's at that age now where he's joined high school. He's going through that kind of puberty age, and he's got his own mates and what have you. So he's not been standoffish, but he's made it clear like he's a bit gutted about it. He don't want to lose his mates. He's a little bit conscious about making new mates over there. But since we got the visa the other day, when we got back from Dubai Wednesday night. So Thursday after school, we sat the three of them down, and we had a good conversation. And we just give it the big sell really to Bobby to try and reassure him that we're not doing it to be bad parents by pulling you away from your friends. We're doing this to give you and your brother and your sister the best possible opportunity for a great childhood and hopefully a good life thereafter. And he's slowly coming round, Wes, he really is.
What did you say? Like, what would, like, can you just run through, like, pretend I'm Bobby and have that conversation with me? Because I'm sure the listeners will probably be thinking, how do I address it with a teenage son? So I'm Bobby for the next minute, mate. So, Dad, why are we going?
Okay, son. Well, first of all, have you done your homework?
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. It was a case of like Bobby, we understand that you're very close with all of your friends, and we know how much you love your friends. The reason why we're taking you to Australia is based around multiple factors. The most important thing to us is making sure that you are happy within yourself and you're going to be settled over there. But by being over there, you're going to be exposed to the quite possibly one of the best kind of out of school lives that you're ever going to have. Everything about the place in terms of the education system, in terms of what you can do in your spare time, the opportunities for sports and activities, the new people from all over England that you're going to meet in the close circle. All your cousins' friends are going to be over there to welcome you. It really is an opportunity for you to help you develop and grow as a person, which will set you up as you become a young man.
Well, I bet, what did he come back with anything, Rob? Like, was he like, oh, Dad, that's,
Not,
like, what about this? What about that?
yeah, he didn't really kind of give me any positive feedback, but it was non-negative either. It was just a case of like, I think it came as a shock to him more so on the speed it took. So he was kind of in agreement, and then we went into details about. At this point, we told him that he's coming with us in February, and we're gonna, as much as it's gonna be classed as almost a working holiday, we're gonna, now the children are coming, we're gonna really kind of invest in some time where we can
make it fun.
give Bobby a bit of fun time and let him see what happens over there. So we don't quite know yet, but something along the lines of maybe like a surfing lesson, or maybe doing some diving off the jetties, or going having a look around the malls and things like that. Just so he can sort of soak it all in and get a feel for it himself.
Put on the DUC club, a month before you go. Just put in that little scenario, because I think people would. I think, like, if you were coming to Vic or something like that, then I'd like, I'm sure lots of people would in WA as well. Catch up with him as well. Catch up with Bobby. Just sort of, be there. They are jumping off piers and just being kids out there. That's just what's they'll do it. So definitely put it in the DUC club for places, because you've got the relocation website as well. You've got stuff in the Joey club, but they've also got stuff for teens to do.
Okay.
And that's one of the reasons why we set that page up on that website, was exactly for this reason. Just to sort of, when you get here, you've got, like, I guess, like a list of tasks that you can do to really sort of wow someone. So they're quite positive and excited, because when they go home, that's when they'll be I think even Oscar, who's 8, they're like, I know I've got my 8-year-olds. He's so competitive, but they like to sort of like one-uppers. Do you know what that means? Like they try to be one-up all the
Yeah,
time
of
of their
course.
mates. So if they can come back with good experience and good photos and everything, then yeah, and even maybe even hit up their parents, and I don't know if they're on Facebook or whatever, but just WhatsApp and get numbers, and they can do like video calls and just see how easy it is to actually connect.
Yeah.
So he can sort of take the phone and be like, oh, I'm at the beach. This is where we're going to be living. You're coming in Feb, and Feb is the hottest month of the year in Australia.
So yeah,
Coldest month in the UK, I found, but the hottest month, it'll be pumping in. You'll be hot in WA.
I can't wait, to be honest with you.
What sort of stuff do the kids like doing? Like so how would you? I like this question a lot when I interview people. Is how do you see life for you and the family when you get here, mate?
Okay, so how do I see life? I think first and foremost, that suburb's got to be correct, and we've got to be comfortable within our surroundings, and we want to have a few kind of non-negotiables when it comes to choosing the right area and the right home, because what you find in the UK, Wes, is you work so hard all year round for maybe 2 to 3 weeks annual leave a year where you get to enjoy it with your family, and even you're kind of restricted, probably based on house prices and things like that. You're kind of restricted as to how much you can actually enjoy your life and like feel really at home in your own surroundings. So we've got a kind of list of what we want to make sure we achieve being over there, based on the property, but also the local surroundings and the amenities. So we want to make sure we're near a good network of shops, and we don't want too far from the beach as well. We want to make sure that there's plenty of activities for the children. So Bobby's football mad, plays football in school every single day. He's not playing for a club at the moment. He kind of fell out of love with playing the actual competitive games. He loves the school football on the playground and what have you. But I hope he picks up his passion for playing a game. Esme, she's dipped her toe in and out of gymnastics over the last sort of 12 months, where she's got quite a bit of potential. But
Sound
again,
like a pun on words there, Rob. Tiptoe out of gymnastics, or
say that again. Sorry, Wes.
yeah, that's all right. I made a bad joke. I just said,
Oh,
was that like
sorry.
a pun on words, like a tiptoe out of gymnastics? But
Yeah,
anyway,
I beg your pardon. Yeah, you know. Yeah. So, and then Oscar is wrestling mad. His whole being is based around the WWE. So
who's his favourite?
he's got 2 or 3 at the moment. He loves Cody Rhodes, he loves Jey Uso, and John Cena, who's been around for a long time. So he's still got a passion for him. But I've been.
If you remember Hulk Hogan or Andre the Giant, they're the OGs, aren't they?
Absolutely. So I had the same
Jake
passion
Roberts.
as him. Yeah, Jake the Snake Roberts. Yeah, I had the same passion as him as a youngster. So I've spent years showing him all the old videos, and I promise you, Wes, if you was to have a 2-minute conversation with him about wrestlers from the 80s and the 90s, he would blow your mind about his knowledge and his understanding of it. So
It's actually a good drinking game. You have to name wrestlers from any wrestler, but from usually from those eras when you're old like me, and then you get to designate someone to drink if you get one, like a new one, because you get to a point when you're sort of like you're digging into what is it? Who was the barber guy? The guy who's
barber beefcake.
the barber beefcake, yeah. Put people to sleep and cut their hair.
That's him. Yeah,
that was his power move.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but yeah, so going back to Oscar, I really want to look into finding a wrestling club for him. Whether he's a bit too young yet, I don't know. But I really want to get him into it, just because it is one of his biggest passions. So we want to get the 3 of them involved in something that they love doing. So it's they can work hard in school and really reap the benefits of living in an amazing place with opportunities like that.
For sure, mate.
Yeah.
For sure. That's the thing. You'll hear in the other. I mean, do you listen to the other podcasts that we've done?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I find them amazing, to be fair.
Yeah, well, like I think they're good because you get sort of the perspective of like we've done lots where, because we try to angle the podcast, mate. Because again, your visa wasn't meant to be granted. You were meant to be in the stage of like, hey, you're waiting for your visa. So we were like, going to talk to you about how you're feeling about waiting for the visa and how all that works. But then you got your visa granted. But we like to do different ones, and you'll hear so many of the people that have been here for a while how much what you were telling Bobby at the start how things are going to change, how actually that does turn into reality, and it can turn into reality quick, as long as I guess you make the right plans and everything like that, and you maybe don't rush them into doing certain things. But it's a bit like the Bobby podcast, this one. But once you mate from the UK, the quality of footballers over there is a bit different to Oz, because
Of
I don't
course.
think we call it soccer, obviously.
Yeah, soccer.
It's not a huge, like my son plays, Jet plays.
Yeah.
But over here, I think the quality is a lot less,
Yeah.
than what it would be in the UK. So he'll probably come to a team and start dominating as well, which would definitely be a bit of a confidence booster. But also, he'll have that sense that he's new. Like he's got that. All the kids and yourself, everyone's got that sense of you're new.
Mhm.
So people generally in Oz, like he's interesting, isn't he? He's from the UK. Like people will talk about him. Like the kids will talk about him. He's from the UK. He's good at football. He's this. He's that. Like you'll get that buzz about it, and hopefully that can make him smile when he gets here. Feel really comfortable.
Yeah, I think you've nailed it there. Whereas once he picks up on that sort of factor of being new, and he's probably being whispered about behind him, he'll soon come over it, and he will adapt, and he's very sort of resilient, Bobby, and he's so good at meeting new people. When we go on holiday, he's the first person to make new friends around the pool, and before you know it, he's sort of he's in his comfort zone, and he's off doing his own thing. So it's probably I think it's that distance what he's probably struggling to come to terms with, but we're both confident that he'll be absolutely fine, honestly.
What about like schools? Have you guys like nailed a school or anything like that? Like, have you guys been that far down the line yet?
No, so one of the biggest reasons for February, apart from sort of driving through suburbs and weighing things up, is I don't know if it is a natural thing over there, Wes, but we're hoping to line up just a couple of schools where we can have a look around and get a feel for the surroundings and the structures, and just try and understand a little bit more about the education system as a whole. Now, my two nieces, I've got three nieces in Australia, but one's in her 20s now, and Macy and Sophie, they're still at school. They go to they're in a private school in the city, so it'd be probably unlikely that our kids would go to a private school. So we're not really going to look into that, I don't think. Do you know whether we could do that, Wes? Have a look around the schools?
I don't know. I think I really think it depends on the school, to be honest. So like our school, where the kids go at this primary school, it's a very different to the UK.
Mm-hmm.
Like so different that when most kids, it sounds so strange, but most kids will take time away from school to go and travel.
Okay.
Like I think it's a bit of like most kids where we are in the school we're at, they always go away in the winter months for a couple of weeks outside of school hours and go on a bit of a hike and do all that sort of stuff. So they're very much relaxed. And then where we are, we got here in September, and I believe that they allowed Jet he was just starting prep, so he was kind of new as well. But we got to go around the school and do things. But we had mates that were already going to the school, so we just took their word for it, like that it was a good school. But I think so, mate. I'm not sure. You have to put that one in the DUC club because I couldn't. Yeah, I don't know. Really don't know, mate.
No, it's a fair comment. So we are a little bit blind when it comes to the schools, but we welcome that challenge. We'll do our own work.
I think, Rob, if you probably emailed the schools and just sort of said, like, oh, hi, we've got a permanent residency visa. We're coming, we're trying to select schools. We want to find the right school to then work out where we want to live. If that's
great advice.
Preference over, your partner working for the airlines or you being a roof tiler. Because you got to have a starting point, don't you? You got to have a starting point of where you're going to be, because then you can work out what jobs you look for. So is it schools that overweigh the jobs, or is it family that overweigh and friends that work out where you're going to be living? Is it the cost of certain areas? Is it what's important, living closer to the beach and paying more for homes and being away from other schools? There's so many factors, mate, isn't there? This is everything that you and Rebecca have got to go through for the next sort of couple of months, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah,
God, it's a lot, isn't it?
I'm glad you've just reeled a few of them off, to be fair, because when you do when you listen to it from yourself, it's like, wow, there is more than just a few kind of material factors to consider. So
It just hit me at the same time, Rob. I'm
yeah.
like, that's a lot because we're different because I'm an Aussie, and I had mates down here.
Mhm.
I sort of knew it was a good area anyway. So it was just the schools, which my wife, aka director of housing, yeah, she sort of did a little bit of research, but we sort of trusted people,
Yeah.
like friends and that. But yeah, there's so much to go through. So what about any advice you'd like to offer anyone who's thinking about going, maybe in the process? Anything you'd like to add, mate?
Okay, so from an advice point of view, for anybody who would be thinking of going, I would probably have that phone call consultation with you guys. We had Mick, like I mentioned earlier, because that will give you a very quick understanding of whether or not it will or won't be a possibility based on the projected point score, because that's what it's all about, isn't it? If you ain't getting 65 points, you ain't getting in, I don't think.
Well, they
So,
are now. That's the thing. That's why
okay,
this is why it's so weird. We're getting people invited with 65 points, and then you're getting yourself, Rob, like the roof tiler who got from start to finish is 6 months. Skills assessment, visa, everything done. Like it's
a lot
there's
more
no
reliable.
it's madness. Like
Yeah,
I'm going to actually when we finish this podcast, I'm going to share this with the UK team, especially Mick and that. Like just to say,
yeah,
wow, like that's a big thing. I mean,
yeah,
obviously we submit everyone's the same and do the best we can for everyone,
of
but the
course.
way that immigration have really looked after you as a roof tiler, I mean that's what it was. What was your points again, mate? Do you remember your points that you?
Yeah, 80 points was.
Wow. Oh, so you got the high English then, obviously, in the 8 years, the 15. You got the full points for work experience as well.
Full points for work experience, the top
Well,
points
there you
for the
go.
English, and then, like I said, by
UK partner.
UK partner, which was 5, I think, and then
Yeah.
I got I was able to get the points. I think it was 20 points from the age at 39. I would have lost 10 points overnight.
Yeah, you
I
get 25 points. So you got
got
25 points for your age. Did you ever complete a university degree?
no,
No. So 25 points for your age, 10 points for your Australian or for your qualification.
yeah,
35, 15 for work experience is 50, 5 for your partner is 55, 20 for English is 75, 5 for state nomination, 80 points, bang. So 80 is a huge score. And that goes to show listeners how important that English test is. Because if Rob hadn't have done the English test, or even got a lower score, you would drop to 70, no English test, 60.
there you go.
Then you're looking down the 491, which is still a good visa, but you don't arrive as permanent resident holders, and
That's
you
it.
get you get the advantage of when you sell your house and everything like that. When the time comes to buy a new one, you can just buy it, and you've got the same rights as an Aussie. You don't have to pay extra bits and pieces. So, um, Rob, mate, congratulations, mate. We do like to sort of keep these podcasts, between sort of 30 to 40 odd minutes.
Yeah,
Because I'm instructed by our marketing team. I could chat for hours though. But
well, it's
just
fun.
thank you for being an awesome client, and congratulations to you, Rebecca, Bobby, Oscar, and Esme,
Thank you
on
so much.
everything. And I'm sure we'll have another round 2 of the podcast, mate, once you're settled in Oz, which will
I'd
probably
like that.
be knowing you're like in about 3 weeks.
I'd like that. Yeah, absolutely. If I could just wrap it up with this, Wes, for anybody else, just trust the process. The thing that made it kind of seamless and kind of stress free for us was don't get too invested in the times. Everything happens for a reason, and whatever time that what you're going to inherit, there's a reason for that. And don't be
Yeah.
disheartened if you get a couple of setbacks. Just rely on you and your guys are like you're top notch at what you do. I imagine you're industry leaders, and just put everything in your capable hands and follow the direction, and you'll soon get there.
I appreciate those words, and I think that is generally how it is. It's so hard to trust a stranger to say trust you. Like I deal with lots of inquiries on the Australian side. I'm like, mate, just you're fine, providing you can get all the documents. And
Yes,
the thing is, none of this is fun. The English test ain't fun. The waiting's not fun. The skills assessment's not fun. Spending the money's not fun. But where you are now at that point now, where the reward, and then you've got that whole things we spoke about before, all the things you've got to do, sell a house, move, get kids on flights, get schools, look for accommodation, look for jobs, starting fresh. It's exciting. And then you've got the, like once you've been here a couple of years, then you sit back and you just go, wow, look what we achieved in that time. And that will probably feel like it's been 10 years, but it's probably only been like 3 years, like it's
crazy, isn't it?
Time, mate. You can never get time back. That's the thing, isn't it? No matter what you can do, you never, ever get your time back. But anyway, Rob, mate, congratulations and thanks for being, awesome and being a wonderful person to interview.
My pleasure. Thank you as well, Wes. I appreciate the opportunity.
No, cheers for making the time. All right, guys. So that was Rob, and we'll catch you on the next podcast, guys. Take it easy.